All right, so I just want to take a moment to explain something here for anyone who's never been down this road. This intake slash exhaust manifold mounting system that we have here is awful. It is very challenging. It's a real pain in the dick. Now, you're gonna see right here, we have the this is our torque pattern. Let's see if I can set it down here. And you'll notice that your number one bolt is right here. Okay, and then so you can see the little dotted line. So where's the number one bolt? Well, the first bolt that should be torqued, and it's really critical that you torque the. I mean, I like torquing things, but you can get carried away. Not everything has to be torqued. Everything has a torque spec. Make no mistake about it. But most things, even with a torque spec, good and tight is good enough. There are some things that it's critical though. So things that take a lot of heat, things that are fragile like aluminum, you know, we need a good seal here. So we're gonna torque these. We're gonna do it in order. We're gonna follow the rules. There's number one, it's underneath the intake. There's number two, it's underneath the intake. Number three is this one right here. Okay. The rest of them, as you can kind of see, that's your alignment dowel. This is a little piece of metal that the intake sits on. That's actually number four. So where's number two? Well, that bitch is right up here in a place that you can't see or get to. You see? There's my light. Now it's a little extra difficult. This is a BBK tubular header, so that does make it a little more challenging, but make no mistake about it, even with the Jeep garbage, it's challenging. So what I want to point out here is that really the only way to do this is to put those bolts in place before you put the intake on. So we're gonna take the intake and we're gonna set it over here. All right, so you see now, all right, there's number one. That's your number one bolt. That's three. And that's number two. Now, when you put the intake in place, the flange of the intake sits right here next to it, okay? And you see how this got a big washer? So that big washer overlaps, some of it touches the header, and then the other half of the washer touches the flange on the intake. Same here, flange on the intake. You know, you can actually see where I had that one on earlier. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna try not to touch this. I mean, this fiberglass crap, man, it'll wear you out. All right, so now we got it started. We're not gonna run it down because we've got to leave enough slack to get over top of the dowel and then drop down on the dowel. But it started, so now we can figure out how to eat that part of the elephant once the intake's in place. Getting it started with the intake on, if you can do that, you better go buy a lottery ticket because you're a winner. Today is your day. All right, so we're gonna drop this intake back on. Hopefully, go on fairly smooth. trying to hold the camera here at the same time. It's pretty much impossible. So, all right, dowel. All right, there we go. We're on the dowels. So we're on the dowels, and as you can see with my little pointer, there's number one. Where's number two? You see number two? Huh? If you see it, you're a bad MFer. Ain't no number two. So you're gonna have to see number two right through that little hole right there. There's number two. All right. I mean, I can see it with my eye. You probably cannot see it. It's right up there. Anyway, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna look at it through there. We're gonna put a extension on a 1/4" shaft with a swivel, or get a swivel socket, and we're gonna try to get a hold of that. Once you get them two bad boys done, it's pretty much smooth sailing after that. Now, as you can see, I'm set up here on an engine stand. Imagine trying to do that while it's in the Jeep. For those of you who have had this cracked manifold nonsense before, you didn't pull the engine to change that or fix that. Well, I don't know what most people do. I guess most people pay a shop to do it, which I'm gonna be honest, in the interest of full disclosure, a buddy of mine has a shop, and I paid him to do it once. This is my 4th Jeep, so it ain't my first time, but that's a crappy job, let me tell you. Okay, so that is, that's how you deal with the intake and exhaust. You really need to make sure, here's what I'm gonna do. In case you're watching this and you want the torque specs, here they are. All right, that's your order. Take a good look. I'll tell you what the torques are. So pause it, screenshot it, take a picture with your phone, whatever. Get you a good bite. And here's our torque specs. The torque specs are fasteners 1 through 5, 24 foot-pounds. All right? 1 through 5, 24 foot-pounds. Fasteners 6 through 7, 23 foot-pounds. I mean, really, everything I ever torque has a tolerance of plus or minus 5. I've never seen anything. Why you gotta get so critical? You know, your shit sucks, so who cares? Fastener numbers 8 through 11, 24. So we're back to 24. So 6 through 7, there's 7. Okay, 6. Okay, so that's your nut. And 7, that's your nut. So your 2 nuts are going to be 23. I don't know why. I mean, maybe because the washers, is it because you're torquing the nut? No. Nut side, bolt side, yeah, 10%. It still don't matter. Either way, it's the 10% rule, but it doesn't really matter. What's 1 pound? 8 through 11 is going to be, here's 8. That's the upper one up here. And then 9 is this one. And then 10 is this one. And then this one's 11. Okay? But you don't need me pointing at it. You got your picture. Look at your picture. So, anyway, there you go. All right.